Let's bring in the member for Groom, Garth Hamilton, who is also Deputy Chair of the House of Representatives Economics Committee. Garth, thanks for joining with me. Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Philip Lowe has been haunted by his words when he told Australians that interest rates would remain at historic lows until at least 2024. It may well cost him his job when it comes up for renewal in September. Is that fair?
I think it's very clear the Governor made a mistake, and it was a mistake that hurt aspirational Australians, people who wanted to get ahead. But the person who's going to decide whether the Governor stays on or not is the Treasurer. And quite frankly, I don't think the Treasurer really cares that much that the Governor hurt aspirational Australians. As you pointed out in your intro, read Jim's 6,000-word essay. There's absolutely nothing in there that speaks to basic economics that should give anyone any confidence that he's someone who can lead us through the challenges ahead. There's a lot of hubris in there, a lot of posturing, a lot of moralising. But for aspirational Australians who want to get on that property ladder, who hope to be able to get ahead, and quite frankly, who were trying to during this last very difficult period, there's not much there to inspire them.
For anyone who planned their finances on the basis of that advice, it's really costing them money now. But the RBA's work is only part of the story of what's made interest rates rise. From your work on the Economics Committee, what else is putting pressure on their upward trend?
Well, let's be very clear. The government's leaving absolutely all of the heavy lifting to the RBA. There's a lot of work they can do, but let's look at the hurt that they have caused. And Amanda, when you intervene this much on an economy, you own it. And that's the case that we have here with this Labor government. When you bring in radical IR legislation dragged out of the 70s, when you introduce price caps to a free market like ours, when you scare off investment or give unions control in bargaining situations, this is the sort of intervention that has a terrible impact on us. So, you know, the message for Australians out there is these interest rate rises that are coming and these interest rate rises that are staying, they're here because Labor won't work with the RBA. Now, very clearly, there's a lot of fiscal policy that could be applied. In fact, around the world, it's quite universally acknowledged. A tightening of fiscal policy would be the right response at this time, given these inflationary pressures. The RBA is trying, with the one big lever it has, to incentivise houses to rein in their spending. You would expect the government to do exactly the same thing. Until they do, till fiscal policy and monetary policy align, you're going to continue to see this pain put on Australian mortgage owners. And quite frankly, from what the government has laid out as their roadmap ahead with another raft of IR legislation coming through, I don't think we're going to have much confidence that they're going to change their tune.
Housing affordability, though, is affecting everyone, from renters to investors to those who aspire to buy and pay off their own home. What should governments at all levels be doing to bring the cost of housing within reach?
Look, Amanda, I'm a pretty simple engineer. I think the best economics is simple economics, and this is an issue of supply. If you look at the levers available to the federal government, we can drive demand. The federal government can and did, during the pandemic, drive the construction industry and brought about that incredible demand that we saw. What we learned from that is that almost across every state, and indeed in a lot of, if not almost all, local governments, there was an inability to match that supply and certainly an inability to ramp up supply. And this is from a long-term view that we've held. I think if we look at the demonisation of development and developers by Labor governments around the country, it's little wonder that we're seeing it so hard for supply of land, supply of housing to be made. And quite frankly, I think that's an issue that's going to take a long time for us to solve.
In June 2021, Garth, the Australian Financial Review was reporting that single women were, to use their words, storming the housing market, becoming one of the fastest growing home buyer demographics in the market. Those very same women are now bearing the cost of rising rates, and they're doing it alone. This is a huge challenge for the individual women involved, but isn't it also a massive opportunity for the coalition to win back the support of those professional and often university-educated women that abandoned them last election?
I think, Amanda, our party sometimes ties itself in knots trying to work out what women want. But here we have them screaming at us, telling us what they want. They want to get ahead. They want to get on the property ladder. They want the opportunity to better their lives, and that's a great thing. And all of those things speak to the essence of what our offering is and has been for a long time as the Liberal Party. I think, Amanda, the opportunity here isn't to change who we are, to look at our foundations and try to seek another way. Rather, it's the opposite, to go back to who we are, to be very proud that we are the party that offers economic strength, that we are a party that wants people to buy a house, goodness me, to get rich and live a great life. That's what we want. We want to see that aspiration. And I think one of the challenges that we've probably brought upon ourselves is maybe a bit condescending, assuming what people want and trying to target messages to people based on assumptions rather than getting out and listening to them. This is a great case. Surprise, surprise. People in a situation of affluence who have time and the ability to invest want to do exactly that. We should be making it very clear to them. If you want to get ahead, we're the party that wants to support that. If you want to get on the property ladder, we'd love to see you do that. And here's the policies we have that can help you to do that. We should be very proud of who we are in this space, Amanda. We've got a great story to tell over a prolonged period of time. I think the best thing we can do is go into that demographic quite proudly of our record and the policies that we intend to take forward.
Thank you very much, Garth Hamilton, for your time.
Thanks, Amanda.